Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I wanted to address something from the recent leaks that we have for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 8, which is the issue that we have with the evil Sasuke, better known as Hidari, being inside the Hidden Leaf Village right now, and why I think it's not only a bad sign for Konoha, but it is also very much needed for the exposure into the flaws that Naruto and Shikamaru have led the village down as Hokage, because it's setting the stage for a major twist later on down the line. Reminder, the new Boruto chapter will officially drop on the 20th, and my editor is currently working on the review right now, so we should have the review done by the 20th when it's officially out, or the day after, with the same quality that you guys have gotten with the previous Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter reviews. You guys have seen the quality upgrade, and it's going to continue in those reviews. Finally, the 30-minute Boruto video goes up tomorrow, and you'll want to keep notifications turned on because you don't want to miss that one. That was a very long script. And the 2-hour Boruto mega video, I just got an update on that. It is 80% done, and it's going to be well worth the wait. I've got one of the best editors on the channel working exclusively on that video, and we're trying some new stuff in that video as well since it's so long. So with the leaks that we have from the chapter, one thing that really stood out was the fact that during Hidari, they pulled up into Konoha, and from the moment that we got the confirmation via the official promotional spoiler that dropped a few days ago, one of the questions I kept asking myself was, why weren't there any Konoha shinobi there, and if it was possible that they were erasing their chakra signatures? While they were merely copies of the Ten Tails itself, containing chakra of the Ten Tails, White Karma Silk Code without limiters, and the chakra of the people who they've been in the past, the idea of them being able to suppress their chakra had originally come into my mind when I saw the promotional spoiler, but as we would learn when the raw scans came out, not only are they bothering to not erase their chakra signature at all, they don't even care enough to hide the fact that they have the chakra people who were former Konoha shinobi, because the moment Hidari walked through the gates, it set off the register of the chakra signature being Sasuke Uchiha, and it led to the next issue, which is Shikamaru has continued the same problems that Naruto had as Hokage, in particular when it comes to policy. Security in Konoha in the Boruto era is way too lax right now, which is something that used to be something understandable. Under Konoha, when Naruto's Hokage, it continued the trend of being the strongest of the ninja villages, and the 5 nations, they were all at peace with one another. You weren't worrying about, say, the Cloud Village invading. Outside of a few proxy wars that take place at the various spots around the continent, there wasn't a true threat to the village, but when it became clear that there was a threat in the form of Kara, Naruto had Tsunade telling him in the anime to close down the gates and tighten security, and it was a stance that Shikamaru took as well, going so far as to say they needed to interrogate every villager to weed out any potential Kara outers that were hiding. But Naruto, seeking the guidance of Kakashi, agreed to keep the gates open and do business as usual. It wasn't something that you could argue against the logic for. Realistically, Naruto at the time, he was the strongest shinobi on the planet. He'd saved the ninja world on 3 separate occasions, and one of those times he did it as Hokage. So the idea that he wouldn't be able to protect the village, it was laughable to those inside the village that signed off on that call. However, Shikamaru as the 8th Hokage, that's a different matter altogether. Sure, Shikamaru has gotten significantly stronger since the 4th Ninja War, something I've said from the moment he was named as Hokage. He's not as weak as people think. The fact remains is that no amount of push-ups, no amount of sit-ups, no amount of drinking plenty of juice was going to be enough to close that gap between Shikamaru and Naruto, because simply put, his ceiling didn't go that high, and he's already in the prime of his strength at his age as a shinobi in his mid-30s. Because again, as a reminder, Shikamaru at this point in the timeline should be 36 going on 37, because it's been 19 and a half years since the 4th Ninja War ended. Konoha had the threat of Code, someone stronger than Jigen, and what Shikamaru was told is a confirmed army of 1,000 claw grimes at his disposal, knowing that they could pop up at any point in time. He had a little snot-nosed twerping Damon right there in the village, who was the strongest person in the village, constantly being monitored, and hoping to God that he doesn't throw a tantrum because Paw Patrol got canceled. He had Kawaki there, someone who, due to omnipotence, Shikamaru didn't suspect was anything other than Naruto's son for a long period of time. which would have given more incentive to beef up the village for security reasons. Because take a moment to step back and look at things from Shikamaru's perspective. Omnipotence is switched his mind. He thinks Boruto is the boy who Shikamaru warned Naruto to never allow into the village because he was a security risk. 6 months after he made that declaration to Naruto, that same boy is the one who not only killed Naruto, but killed Naruto's wife too inside of their home, again from Shikamaru's perspective. And it happened just days after Shikamaru watched said child kill Naruto's firstborn son. That would be a greater sense of not wanting to fail Naruto's legacy, which is what Shikamaru would view Kawaki is, since again he believes that he's Naruto's son. We saw to an extent that Shikamaru had made changes to security because the Konoha shinobi, they were actively patrolling the village looking for Ko's claw mark. So there was some work being done there. But the fact that Hidari and Jura were able to literally walk through the front gates and get a pretty decent amount of feet into the village before they were confronted, that's really alarming. Sure, context definitely matters here. I don't want to take this out of context. In just one day, Konoha had Ko pull up into the village unexpectedly. They had to evacuate villagers, they had to battle against the claw grimes, they had to send the villagers back to their homes, and now in less than a few hours, you got more intruders who are popping up ready for the smoke. That might very well end up being a record for the most number of cluster Fs that have happened in Konoha in one day, assuming there wasn't some random filler episode in Naruto Shippuden that had separate attacks inside the village at different times of the day. So it's easy to give a pass here, but I think that this leads to a bigger problem. The narrative setting Konoha up to look vulnerable, and the threats that they are facing are just as Kawaki warned in the past, which is they are threats that will ultimately be too much for regular ninja to handle. When he finally snapped at the end of part 1, one of the things he kept stressing over and over is that at the end of the day, shinobi, they are destined to die because they're in way over their heads. And it's something that when you go back and look at the light novels that are set in the 4th Ninja War and that I tend to cover in the After Naruto Shippuden playlist, Naruto and Sasuke, they both had a very similar fear after the war. Sasuke was more pessimistic than the lighthearted Naruto, which is that the ninja world they believe was making the wrong lessons from the battle in the 4th Ninja War. Two men, Madara and Obito, they're stronger than 99% of the Shinobi Alliance. That remaining 1% was made up of Naruto and Sasuke. Kaguya was even stronger than them, even when they possessed Hagoromo's chakra seals up until the moment where Kaguya was defeated, and he took back the chakra seals because she got defeated, because again, those chakra seals have no impact on the ability to use the Rinnegan, 6-pass Sage Mode, or 6-pass Power. Sasuke saw the same future that Kawaki did. Things would turn out bleak for the shinobi world if the way of the shinobi didn't evolve and if the shinobi themselves didn't go stronger instead of wasting chakra and resources to improve technology, because Sasuke rightfully feared that there would be more people stronger than Kaguya out there. And it's something that Sasuke lost a lot of sleep over. As far back as when Naruto got married, Sasuke was already worried about that. Kawaki told Naruto and he told Sarada that shinobi, they are destined to die in this timeline. Boruto came back to the village, specifically trying to stop Code, trying to bargain and reason with him, warning him that if he didn't stop and destroy the Ten Tails, it would lead to a bigger problem than Code realized. And Boruto was referring to more than just the Ten Tails harvesting a chakra fruit. Every sign points towards Boruto having seen something in the future that freaked him out. It's something I said in the reviews when that stuff came out, and I'm doubling down on that. Now, having the confirmation that Hidari has Sasuke's chakra, that is a huge deal because it means in all likelihood that he possesses more of Sasuke's jutsu than just the Chidori to be used in combat, which we've already seen so far when he battled against Boruto. There are things carried inside a chakra that make the whole Hidari situation something that you have to continuously keep your eyes on moving forward, as well as the other Shinju that might be there. We still have 2 more Shinju who have not been shown coming into the village, but they have targets inside the village they're going after. And we've seen before, there is a tendency to have people play divide and conquer. While one person carries the attention of others, the other person moves around without any eyeballs on them. And that's where I do wonder if it might have been intentional that Hidari's chakra and Jura's chakra was so easily detected, because we learn that Matsuri and Bug are in different parts of the village, or rather we might learn they're in different parts of the village because that claw grime that they came out of during Hidari was running around through the perimeter of the village undetected, and nobody seemed to know that it was there, even though we know for an absolute fact that the sensory unit can monitor chakra outside the village up into a certain extent, which means they do have the power to master chakra signature if they want to. I really don't think we're done here with the plot twist with these Shinju. I think Matsuri and Bug are somewhere in the village right now, and I do believe the story is setting us up for another subversion of our expectations. The only question is, how are we going to get there, and when does the narrative pull the trigger? Because Jura alone is enough, but the fact that Hidari is there with Sasuke's chakra, it makes me think that the duo of Kishimoto and Ikimoto has something else planned for this that they aren't paying attention to, and it's going to be an even bigger development for Boruto or Kawaki, because both are targets of the Shinju and both stand to lose a lot with them being there in the village. We can definitely see that there is something much larger at play coming, because there's been too much emphasis on Code made a mistake with making fundamental changes to the Ten Tails, and we see how Code has lost control of them. They are acting on their own. They're going on side quests. They're not even following their natural instinct to devour Otsutsuki. They're doing what they want to. It is leading us to a much larger bomb down the line. As a reminder, again, that 30-minute Boruto video is going to drop tomorrow. Very proud of the script for that video. You do not want to miss it. And the chapter review will be out on the 20th or the 21st, depending on when my editor wraps up with the review. But in the meantime, click here to watch the spoiler video if you haven't already.